Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's April 11th, 2013. To my left is Logan Burgess and I'm Brock Shimbano. We had another positive day across the grains here. Let's turn over to Fire Tip to see how we ended the day in Chicago. Corn was up 2 1/4 cents, soybeans up 9 1/4, wheat in Chicago up just a penny here this morning, and Kansas City was up 8 3/4 cents. You know, Logan, it's kind of encouraging to see corn rally for the fourth day this week.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. Yesterday we were talking on the show. We were expecting to see a little bit of strength out of the corn market and kind of a mixed bag, I guess, here after seeing the close. If we jump into the action that we saw today, here we're looking at a 5-minute candlestick chart of the May contract. And here you can see coming out of the night session, we really had a lot of strength in this market. We made a run at 660. You know, corn was trading up 11 or maybe even 12 cents here at one point today. So certainly looked very strong. But once we got some more volume in this market here, we kind of just moved in an orderly fashion lower and only closed the day up 2 1/4. You know, if we jump in here to a daily candlestick chart here, the May contract, you can see these two large wicks here on the last 2 days worth of trade action here, really indicating that we're finding a lot of selling pressure when this corn market's trying to make a run higher. And the last 2 days we've settled right around this lower side trend line. So look for that tacked in as an area of resistance here. And you know, in light of our comments yesterday, looking for things to move a little bit higher, I'm not really feeling that good about another run higher just given the action that we saw today.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of discouraging to see us, you know, make another run at that 660 level, only to be pushed lower. We did find a little bit of support on that 650 area, so that's definitely going to be an area we'll have to watch.
Absolutely.
It's kind of on that low side of the channel that we traded most of the winter.
Yep.
You know, export sales weren't really anything to write home about either today. That really didn't help us push higher early on in the session. If we take a look at where we stand for the marketing year, you can see here the red line is what we need to be seeing for weekly pace given seasonalities to meet the revised USDA estimate of 800 million bushels of export sales this year. We did fall quite short of that here this week. We only had 185,000 metric tons sold in the old crop for corn this week.
Yep.
But for the marketing year, we are still about 27 million bushels behind pace to meet that revised estimate. For soybeans, a little bit of a different story here. We did almost meet the seasonal pace to meet those revised USDA estimates of 1.35 billion bushels of export sales this year, but we did fall a little bit short this week, and for the year we're still about 110 million bushels ahead of pace to meet those revised estimates.
You know, Brock, if we think back to the numbers that we saw in yesterday's WASDE report, we saw export sales of corn lowered 25 million bushels. We saw export sales of soybeans actually revised higher by 5 million bushels. You know, in light of the pace that we're at, you know, right now in the marketing year, do you think that was sufficient moves yesterday by the USDA, or do you have any kind of insight, I guess, what we might be seeing here down the road?
You know, we do have about 20 weeks left in the marketing year, so there's some time for corn to catch up. Like I said, we are 27 million bushels behind pace to meet those revised estimates. I think corn, that was a good move for the USDA to move it lower. We could see, if we continue to see a lack of export sales, move even lower in reports coming down the line here. You know, just thinking about what we saw today, 185,000 metric tons were purchased. You know, I think that was a relatively low number given that we've come off 70 cents since those reports, you know, the end of the month in March.
Yeah.
You know, given that information, and then soybeans, we only saw a revision higher by 5 million bushels. I would have expected a little bit higher revision there, given the fact that we're 110 million bushels ahead of pace on soybeans right now.
Yeah, you know, certainly we've been talking about it here for a while now on GrainTV. The corn market's really searching for demand. Certainly yesterday's ethanol number, that certainly looked good in terms of demand, but export sales we really have not seen come charging back with this huge drop in price, and I think a lot of people out there are kind of waiting for that before we officially consider the bottoms in this corn market. Certainly the action today I think was a little bit worrisome for people holding old crop grain, but as we saw, we did still close in the black, so picked up a little bit of ground. We'll have to wait here over the next couple days, keep our eyes on ethanol usage, keep our eyes on export sales, and we'll keep you posted on that here on GrainTV moving forward. But you know, in general, I think that's kind of what we saw in the grain market here for a Thursday. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Join us tomorrow for Friday for the weekly wrap-up.